to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncer's gilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV. I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Eddie Hearn here at Acocks Green Boxing Club here in Birmingham. How are you, mate?
Sweating my cods off. It is like a sauna in here. What a place. Unbelievable. Probably the biggest amateur gym I've been to, certainly since we've been doing all this community stuff around the shows. Pleasure to be here tonight. Obviously, last week AJ, this week Next Gen, and in between IFL Live. Have you recovered, boy?
Just about, mate. You know, I know, I think a few people were saying it was sponsored by Horlicks, but, you know, we move.
Every message I got from people who went said they had a great time.
Absolutely.
And that's all you can ask for.
And you can only try in life, can't you, Eddie?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk about, obviously, this week's show, Next Gen show. Yes, give me a little run through the card, Ed.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, Galal Yafai, obviously Birmingham boy through and through, and a massive opportunity, Olympic gold medalist to headline in his hometown. Ironically, he's boxed at the O2 headlining, he's boxed at Madison Square Garden, he's boxed in Abu Dhabi, and now he's boxing in Birmingham for the first time. So we sold a lot of tickets this week. Next Gen cards obviously traditionally smaller, giving a chance for the younger generation to shine on bigger nights. And you see that across various fighters on Saturday, particularly Sol Dacres here as well. Jordan Flynn rematching Kane Baker is going to be a brilliant fight. Cyrus Patterson against Connor Walker is a brilliant fight, and we've got a big fight planned for Cyrus if he gets through. Aaron Bowen, Muhammad Ali, many others as well. Ibrahim as well, Spider, sold like 500 tickets with JK. It's going to be a really big crowd there, and actually a really good night of boxing. But for Galal, it's about continuing that development. I think he should be, really looking fantastic against Tommy Frank and making a statement. I want to see him fight for a world title in the next 12 months. I don't think there's many more levels beyond where he's been boxing, maybe one or two. But honestly, this young man's going to be fighting for a world title soon.
Let's get back, obviously, to last weekend, Saturday night, when I spoke to you after that. But have you spoken to Mr. Anthony Joshua since Saturday night?
Yeah, a couple of times. Feels good. I mean, obviously, it was a huge relief, to be honest, to get the win after everything that had happened. It was a bit of a nightmare 7 days, but ended in fine, destructive style. Tremendous knockout that was seen all over the world. The event was great. The numbers were huge on the zone as well, which was great for us and them. And on we go. There's a meeting actually going on right now with Frank Smith and Prince Khalid and Freddie and Skills Challenge to talk about, obviously, the Wilder fight's the one we want. January is the date. People talking about what happens if that doesn't happen. We're not even thinking about it. We're just doing everything we can to make that fight. And it's time now to give the world a mega fight for Anthony Joshua.
I don't know if you saw my interview with Anthony after, and I brought up the fact that I'd heard from a couple of people from that night, and one of them being you, that fight would take place in January. He was adamant that it wouldn't take place in January, that he wants to fight in December. Can you just clear up that little bit of confusion?
He would much prefer to fight in December, but the reality is January is the date that Saudis want, and the fight will go on the date they want. What he does want is he's loving being active. We know there's been a big part of his career where he hasn't been active, and particularly around COVID, and now he's just loving being active. So in his preference, he would fight in December. But obviously, we'll have to see what's said in the meeting, and January is the indication we're getting regarding the date.
Okay, so I know we always like to ask you about a slight timeline on this, but you have got time on this, but not too much time.
The timeline is we're in meetings as we speak, so I think everyone's going to want to get it done. We will, if we can't get it done, we will stay active, but that's the fight we want. It's we're not looking at any other fights at the moment. If for any reason that fight doesn't happen, of course, we'll look at other opponents. But time-wise, this week, next week, get it locked in and try and make it happen.
Okay, some very interesting comments from yourself on Gareth Davies' podcast yesterday regarding the situation with Boxer and Riakporhe and Opetay. Can you just kind of give us a summary of of that conversation for people that don't know from what you said yesterday?
Look, I don't want to go in too deep because I've had messages from people from Boxer saying, please don't, be too harsh. But part of me goes, no, bollocks. You want to come out and give an interview saying that Matchroom are being distractive, Matchroom aren't wanting to work with, Boxer and Sky, and it's complete rubbish. So unfortunately, to those people that ask me not to be harsh, I've just got to tell you the truth because I'm not going to have one side, not the other side. What I heard in that interview was total and utter bollocks. The reason that Boxer keep pulling fighters out of purse bids is because they don't want to potentially lose their fighter from their platform. It is horrific for boxing. They've done it before with with Fraser Clark in the Fabio Wardley situation, and they've just done it with Richard Riakporhe. They got Masternak to step aside so that Riakporhe could go in as mandatory. They negotiated, we had offers backwards and forwards. The purse bid was that afternoon, and they pulled out Riakporhe because they said we were messing them around. There's nothing to mess around. It's a purse bid. There's no messing around. Whoever puts the most money up gets the fight. Simple. Then in the interview yesterday, it was Matchroom don't want to work with us. We're the victims here. Let's just have it right. They said we've got another fight, so we went elsewhere. Better offer, better. On the same day, my co-promoter with Jaya Pattaya received an email from Boxer saying, please keep this confidential between Boxer and Tasman fighters, but here's an offer to make Richard Riakporhe against Jaya Pattaya. Now, firstly, anyone with half a brain in boxing knows that if you pull out of a purse bid situation with a governing body, you're out. It goes down next in line. You can't now pop back up. It's a bit like Fraser Clark. Fraser Clark was mandatory. He's gone from the situation. So they've sent an email making an offer to Jaya Pattaya after the purse bid, after they've pulled them out of the purse bid, when they've already got another fight secured because that's the reason they pulled him out of the purse bid in the first place, to try and make a fight they can't even make, and to have the cheek to tell my co-promoter, let's keep this confidential and basically don't tell Matchroom. My co-promoter phones me straight up. He says, look, I've just received this. He comes to me. I have a bit of banter, go back to them and say, what's going on here? Oh, no, what it was, then I do the interview with Boxing Social. It didn't know about it. Just have it right. Don't pull the wool over people's eyes. I'll give it to you straight. You pulled out of the fight, you took the opportunity away from Richard Riakporhe to fight the #1 cruiserweight in the world for the IBF and the Ring Magazine title. They could have won that purse bid, and if they didn't, they would have made a fortune with me bidding for it. I mean, and they're claiming they have another opportunity, which is Gulamar, in which they're trying now desperately to scramble for. But in the meantime, make an offer after they've pulled out the purse bid to make the fight. It's like, either someone don't know what they're doing or the head's gone. But that is the situation. And at the end of the day, promoters out there are putting fighters in really difficult positions where they're losing opportunities, they're losing positions in rankings, they're being put before tribunals and in legal situations that is actually making them lose fights. And I couldn't believe that interview when I heard it. And when I saw that email from Boxer to my co-promoter, I thought, oh, we're going to have some fun today, baby. And that's what happened. So,
Are these coming from Ben Shalom?
Coming from Boxer. But he's on the emails, yeah. It's like, honestly, when I got the email, please keep this strictly confidential between Tasman and Boxer. Well, what do you think? He's not going to tell me. And you're making the offer after you've pulled him out of the purse bid. I mean, imagine going to the IBF and going, I know you've gone to the next available mandatory, but what it is, I know we pulled out the purse bid, but we've actually changed our mind. Can we still make the fight? It doesn't work like that. Know the rules, know your fighter. Don't protect your business and your network, protect your fighter, and don't take opportunities away from them. End of story, not going to talk about it again, but I just thought it was funny.
Okay, I know you've got a queue of people waiting for you. Just a couple more things before you finish. You did make some comments yesterday on that podcast with Gareth relating to Conor Benn and that appeal process. Could you just make comment on that again?
I don't know what I said, but I probably do expect, given the circumstances, given the, I won't say too much, but I'm guessing the board may appeal the decision, and we'll just wait to hear. That's all I said really, and we'll make an official statement when that time comes.
Do you expect him to be fighting twice this year, still, or not?
No, certainly once. I mean, look, Conor Benn's already licensed. He can fight now. In fact, he can fight in the UK. He's not suspended in the UK. I don't believe the ball could stop him from fighting in the UK. But again, legally we'll have to look at it. But it's very frustrating. He's gone through every process that's been asked of him. But it's the business we're in. And that's okay. We'll keep going. And it'll be the same result again.
Have you learned anything more regarding Dillian White's situation over the last few days?
Nothing. I've not spoke to Dillian or his team since the beginning of the previous week.
Because I'm assuming you don't technically have to be informed, or do you need to be informed and kept up to date with that process?
I won't be. What you have to understand about testing, and I know it's unfortunate and some people don't like it, but it's confidential, and it's now between Dillian White and whoever is going to effectively have a hearing to adjudicate what's going to happen. And I haven't been involved and won't be involved, but we wish him all the best, and we would love him to be proven innocent.
Okay, literally 2 more things. I heard you on that podcast again making some comments about if Joshua is to beat Deontay Wilder, that you do believe then a fight with Tyson Fury would have to be a 50-50?
Yeah. I mean, when Tyson Fury lost or drew with Deontay Wilder, we tried to make the AJ fight, and he said he won't take any less than 50-50 as a voluntary challenger. And when AJ knocks out Deontay Wilder even, I think 50-50 is fair. But let's make the fight first.
Okay, and very finally, there has been some news that has surfaced today regarding Alicia Baumgardner and a failed test. Can you make comment, and what can you actually tell us about that?
We've issued a statement on that. Obviously, we are aware of that. We were made aware of this weekend, and then in turn, at the same time, the Commission and the governing bodies as well. There was a number of voluntary tests that were conducted on Alicia that were passed, and there was an adverse finding on fight week and a negative test on fight night. Again, all very confusing and confidential for her to go through that process to clear her name. But that we can confirm that, and again, she'll be going through the process now with our support to get to the bottom of it.
Can you tell us what the adverse finding was?
No, I can't. Again, confidential. But she will go through that process now with whoever will hear it, and go from there.
This seems to be very continuous, Eddie.
Continuous because we're the only ones paying for extensive testing. People will say, "Oh, a Matchroom fight." Yeah, because Matchroom are the only promoters that are continuously tested. You should be asking all these other promoters doing shows, "Are you doing testing for this fight?" The answer is
outside of UK.
Yes, 90% no. So, of course, we are trying to make sure that we implement as much testing as possible. And when you do that, there will be more adverse findings. Sometimes completely innocent and unlucky, and sometimes guilty, but they will come. But you can't have it both ways. You can't tell us to do non-stop testing, which we're doing, and then adverse findings pop up, and it's like, whoa! Ask the question of other promoters, who is spending money like Matchroom to make this sport cleaner? And we'll continue to do that.
I think the whole thing around when people say, "Oh, it's on another Matchroom show," but that kind of negative connotation is being put out.
We're doing 30 odd shows a year, and we're testing on every single show. No other promoter is. The bigger fights will have testing. Sometimes we'll have different testings. Sometimes we'll have different agents. Always same laboratories. We use Drug Free Sport, who do the NBA, NCAA, NFL, NASCAR, LPGA. We use VADA. But we are spending a lot of money to make the sport cleaner. But when we do that, you will get more adverse findings pop up, and that's the reason why.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much on Tyrefield TV. You have got a string of people waiting to talk to you in this glaring heat, so good luck with that.
Cheers.
Proof. Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,